Howdy, y'all. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and welcome to the first real review video for DBZ All-Star After Dark. This video series has been a long time coming, and before I delve into it, I want to give fair warning as well as delve into what was the origin of this set of videos. So, fair warning. What I will review on this channel will often be based upon explicit content, mature rated content, adult oriented material. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, you've been fair warned about violence, about potential sexual content. If that's not your thing, please feel free to watch other content on this channel that won't be as explicit but will still be maturely rated, or check out my other channel, DBZ All-Star, which is more age appropriate for all ages than this channel will be. The intent of this channel is to be able to do things that I do not typically do on DBZ All-Star. Now, the origin behind this series of videos comes down to this. In the Near Mint Discord, we have a member who had voluntarily decided that they were going to volunteer to review pretty infamous / well-known adult-oriented content, La Blue Girl. So, the one known as the Oracle and other members do not forget. This became kind of a running joke, but also a little bit serious. So, finding out that this member was a little uncomfortable and they weren't going to live up to that promise, I pulled the Hunger Games, volunteered as tribute, and said, hey, I'll review Bible Black. That was a little over 2 years ago, and the reasons for the delays are as such. One, I needed to purchase the content. I do have that. I purchased that nearly 2 Christmas days ago in full. Next step was watching it and coming up with a script and a format. I did that, and those of you who have been watching DBZ All-Star might remember a trailer where I utilized this mask. And I was going to use 2 dolls to less explicitly act out the content within Bible Black. I decided after multiple edits and multiple tries, it just wasn't syncing. Sometimes you create content and it just does not sync properly. So I have a brand new format. It involves the items in front of me, what I'm wearing, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to review 1 episode per episode as well. That way things can gestate, I can absorb feedback if there is any, and I can make adjustments if necessary. I am committed to doing this to the end because I want to be a man, a person of my word, for better or worse, given this content that I have watched so far. Now, one final thing before I get into the actual review of Bible Black Episode 1 for this first episode review. I have had experience with it before, but only through Otakon After Dark panels. I had only seen the dubbed version of the first 2 episodes. For this, to be fair to both, I watched the dub and the original language version with subtitles to give it a fair chance, and so I could absorb the content. These are my own interpretations of the content, so please feel free if you like the content, if you think there's room for improvement, if you can't stand it. Leave a comment below this video. As always, like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications of future content. I want to thank James the Oracle, Josh Greathouse, and so many others for being patient and for continuing to want this content. So let's move on directly to the content from this point. Hello all, and welcome to the first review for Bible Black here on DBZ All-Star After Dark. We will begin with the first episode of this well-known and still infamous hentai. What is a hentai? It is an adult-oriented or mature content Japanese animation project. This is based off of an adult game and evolved into several OVAs, or original video animation, released in the early 2000s. With that being said, let us begin. We start our story, as many high school oriented stories do, with a bloody massacre in the school basement. While it may be confused as just another congregate disagreement within the Westboro Baptist Church, this is a wholesale slaughter. We don't see any of the principal players appear yet, but we do find out that something tragic happened in this location, and we are left with the hope that we will receive answers to the questions brought up in this scene. Why has this occurred? Who is responsible? And how does this affect our story? From there, we move to what appears to be present day and are introduced to some of our main characters. We have Minase, who appears to be a boy that is the subject of attraction and affection from one of his friends, Imari. We have Saiki, who we find out later in the episode is a member of the Magic Club and Witchcraft Club. Within that, we are led to believe it's high school, and that's all we're given right at the start there. There's not a whole lot of character building as of yet. Just a brief introduction before a green-haired high school student, again, we don't know if it's high school, but we're led to believe it is, enters another room. She encounters the school nurse, Kitami, and intimacy ensues. Now, please do not be triggered, as this is a work of fiction and I am simply reviewing it. If you feel triggered at this point, this content is not for you. Kitami initiates the intimacy, and at first it is appearing that it is unwanted. However, it soon evolves from resistance into full-on lustful activity, with Kitami exposing a surprise appendage and utilizing that on this student. Kitami is disturbed by the fact that this student has not been one to remain pure, and upon climax, she decides to seek out someone who has held on to their virtue. We move then to Minase and Imari, as well as one of their classmates, working on some kind of magic trick in class, with Minase enchanting a piece of paper. We have a brief interlude before this, but it doesn't evolve into much. The class president, Shiraki, is the object of attraction for Minase, and despite the fact that he believes she outclasses him, she begins to initiate intimacy with him in the school gymnasium, as you do. This is when Minase reflects back to enchanting that piece of paper that becomes a charm. He hands that off to one of the other students, and unfortunately, shenanigans ensue from there. As in the hallway, this student and the object of her affection have become ravenous with lust, despite this male student having a girlfriend. They must be separated, and that's when Minase has his plan percolate in his brain to do the same to Shiraki. Minase and Shiraki consummate their lust, and Shiraki makes note that despite it being her first time, there is no pain. And I gotta tell you, there is no use of protective tools or substances in the show. So, were this a normal situation, and obviously it is not, most likely there would be pregnancies abounding. But this is not that kind of show. It is readily apparent this is not that kind of show, because fluids are released with abandon. From there, we find that Minase's intimate moment is not unnoticed. Psyche does make note of this transgression within the school gymnasium. Rather, the supply closet of the gymnasium, because it would be more noticeable by more people were the main area of the gymnasium. So my apologies, it is the supply closet for the gymnasium, so they can have more privacy. We then move forward to art class, where Minase is drawing a portrait of Imari. Not in the way of drawing a French girl, but Minase shows himself to be absorbed still with perversion, and includes a panty shot within his drawing, which provides to bring about slight ire and shock from Imari. Before the conversation can truly continue, as they are walking home from school, Psyche ends up interrupting the moment between Minase and Imari. She decides that Minase is hiding something and must share this secret. Imari goes home and pouts, obviously holding some true feelings for Minase. From there, Psyche and Minase enter her home, and Psyche, demanding to know the secret, offers up her body. Filled with lust, Minase gives in and reveals that he has found a book at the site of this massacre at the beginning of this episode, and is utilizing it to provide himself with the opportunity for dark magic and other enchantments to bring about lust-filled activities amongst the students and for his own proper gain. The episode concludes with the intimate moment between Minase and Psyche's body ending, and we are left with the end credits. Now, that being said, this is not just a review via summary, it is a review of the content itself. I will say, I can understand why this material is controversial. There is a question of the right of consent within the content, so if that is triggering, if that is not something of interest to you, I would recommend staying away from Bible Black. If you are able to see it as a work of fiction and of adult content, as well as something that is sometimes present in Japanese content, then you may be okay. I do believe that the animation works for the series. It is not top quality. I did notice some continuity errors throughout, but it is not the highest budget to provide quality control. The voice acting for the Japanese is well done. The English, not so much. There are moments where you can't believe that this voice actor is able to elicit such interesting responses from a moment between Kitami and the student in which the student exclaims, "I want the big one in me," to Imari's voice, which sounds similar to Golem, "My precious Minase." If you're going to watch it and you don't mind reading, I would recommend the subtitles. If you want to purchase this content, you can do so via Amazon or eBay, but I would recommend buying it at the lowest possible price. I was fortunate enough to find a sealed bundle when I originally purchased it, and I'm grateful to be able to have paid a bargain price for this content so I can commit to these reviews. If you like this content and you want to see more, by all means, let me know in the comments below. If you want me to shake it up as I plan to do each episode, I am more than happy to do that. I am grateful for the patience allotted to me. I am grateful for everyone who has shown an interest in this content. At the end of the day, please stay healthy, stay safe, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Don't commit any of the acts in Bible Black.